Nope. No, I am not. No. Yep. 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 Yeah, just go for it, yeah. Why not?
Hello gamers from around the world, this is Boxenberger, the video game enthusiast from Germany, and I would like to welcome you to this week's episode of the World of Gaming. And we are here on a very unusual day. We are here on a Sunday, Dutch.
We are indeed.
We are. It was my son's birthday. My little boy turned 8 years old. My youngest son.
Nice.
This Thursday, and we had, a birthday party, and that's why we didn't do our podcast on the regular day. But we didn't want to miss this week's podcast, and so we decided to move it just to a Sunday. So a big welcome to our awesome community who joins us here at this very unusual spot for the world of gaming. I hope you guys are doing well. A big welcome also to everyone who listens after the fact, either here on YouTube, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you're listening. Big welcome. Hope you guys are doing well. And how are you doing, Dutch?
Yeah, I'm also doing well. I had a lovely hike in the Lake District yesterday and today, so I'm all refreshed and ready and raring to go.
Sweet. So it was an interesting week for gaming. So we have plenty of stuff to talk about. But before we do that, of course, we always want to talk about the most important thing in gaming, and that are the games that we are playing. So Dutch, what have you been playing lately? And the community in the chat.
Hang on. Yeah. Oh, go on.
Yeah, I just wanted to encourage our community to also drop in the chat what they have been playing. So, but Dutch, I didn't want to interrupt you. So, what kept you busy, man?
Strictly to be fair, I haven't really been on games much. To be fair, it's just been work or chilling out, and the one game I've been playing that's keeping us busy has been Pokemon Legends ZA. Again, handheld. The new handheld that you have is still not available in stock, so won't be playing that anytime soon. Not the end of the world, though. Like I say, I have
They
been playing.
promised to better themselves this week. They said that they were a little surprised about the overwhelmingly high demand and that they intend to, well, fill up the stock.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. They need to.
Indeed.
But yeah, so obviously I've just been playing handheld. I haven't really been in again, it's been that busy. I haven't been really able to sit down at a console and play it. So I've just been playing on Pokemon Legends 8, and I finished the story. When I got back today, it was just the last section where it was kind of going against the final boss, etc. On it. But no, it's a fantastic game. I'm obviously still playing it because there's lots of post game and the DLC is coming out next month.
Yeah.
So lots to do on it, but thoroughly enjoying it. And yeah, that's all I've been playing. What about yourself?
Well, I have played a lot, actually. So where to start? The game I played the most that is just so addictive is Ball X Pit, man. I've been playing that game way too much. I'm already in New Game Plus 2. And it is as addictive as it was in the beginning. Still, I can't, especially on the Rock Xbox LEX. It is fantastic. You know, you can just pick that thing up, play one round of 10, 15 minutes, and then do something else. It is, but I've also played longer sessions than that. Yeah, Ball X Pit is just, it is video game crack, man. It's just. Have you tried it?
And I have tried it. Yeah, I played it after you asked us.
Yes.
And I installed it on PC. And yeah, it reminds me of quite a few games, to be fair. And it's one of them where you can just pick up, you can play a few levels, and then forget about it to a point, and then play a few more levels, and then go back and improve and expand your base and add new slots in your base, and then go back and redo those things, and then get more power ups, and then unlock new characters. And yeah, it's certainly very interesting indeed.
It is. It is. Once you get the hang of it, and there's one building you can build in your base that, well, makes you kind of overpowered at the beginning, at least. Is a building that allows you to play two characters simultaneously, and to combine like different special abilities, and it changes the game so dramatically because there are so many characters. You know, there's one character that suddenly makes this a turn-based game, right? There's one character that will start to shoot the balls not from the bottom but from the top. Makes you play the game in a very different way, and so there's just so much you can do then. And even if you finish the game, like unlock all characters and finish all 10 levels, even New Game Plus is so addictive because you build up you increase your base, it's just an addictive gameplay loop. It is. I don't know what else to say. I couldn't recommend it more, man, to everyone out there.
So have you finished it now?
Twice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean,
okay, fair enough.
I mean, New Game Plus 2. Yeah. And I'm surprised that the community isn't voting for Ball X Pit gameplay, because I've got some footage here from New Game Plus 2, but people want to see Outer Worlds and Call of Duty.
God, I haven't even intentionally. I've seen some of the Call of Duty campaign, and it looks horrific.
Yeah, honestly, I also started Call of Duty, so And if the community wants to watch some Call of Duty footage, go ahead and vote for it. The poll is up in the chat, what we are watching today. And what can I say? It really,
Please,
it's
please
not
tell
good.
us.
It's really not good. I mean, listen, the mechanics itself, it's Call of Duty, right? The shooting itself feels good. The movement feels good. That's all cool. But it feels the same in more or less every Call of Duty, except maybe the ones that play in the past in World War II also. But even those play from a pure gameplay perspective, very similar to Call of Duty, and
Yeah.
that's of course the case here. It's also you have these cinematic moments, it's you can't argue against that. It's
No.
pardon, it has these set pieces and the action and everything. But honestly, the story is so horrific and it becomes so ridiculous if you I'm just putting out minor spoilers here because that's stuff that happens in the first, I want to say 15 minutes or so, right?
Yeah.
You go on a special mission with your team and then you inhale some weird gas and that makes you like have hallucination. What's the English word? Hallucinations.
Hallucinations.
Yeah. And that's why a lot of the levels do have these weird ass level mechanics because you are in some kind of trance and you have hallucinations and you have like sci-fi like levels, you have like mystery levels, you have zombie levels, and it's really not good. And I'm not even sure if I said to myself, well, you can power through it, right? Because after 5-6 hours, you're gonna have finished the campaign. But honestly, I'm like 2 or 3 hours in, and I'm not sure if I'm going to continue it even because it is just
Is that bad?
it's that bad, right? I'm not really interested in the multiplayer either, so I'm thinking about just uninstalling it. Maybe I'm just gonna play the last 2 or 3 levels that I have left, and then be done with it. And at least then I can say I've completed it or finished the campaign. It's also like a campaign that is heavily designed for co-op. Yeah. Even if you want to play solo, the game will automatically like put randoms into your campaign so that you always play in like 4-player co-op.
Really?
Yeah.
So the campaign's always 4-player?
It's always designed to be played with 4 players. I found deep down in the option menu somewhere the option to turn that off. But it heavily invites you to play the campaign in 4-player co-op. Yeah.
Oh, no.
So
Absolutely not.
after finding that option that the game doesn't load randoms into my campaign playthrough, it became a little better, because I guess the campaign can be fun if you play it for friends, but not with randoms, So yeah. What can I say? It's at best it is one and done, play and forget about it, right? I can't
Forever.
really speak about the multiplayer. I'm not a Call of Duty multiplayer guy. I haven't played Call of Duty multiplayer in, I want to say, at least 10 years. So can't speak on the multiplayer aspect of the game. But the campaign, well, in a world where I can play Outer Worlds 2 and Ball X Pit and Ninja Gaiden, I haven't finished that yet. There's really no need for me to play that and waste my gaming time with that. But hey, taste is different. I've seen people enjoying the campaign. I've seen people complain about the campaign, and I guess that's fair, right? Yeah. What else have I been playing? I also played or continued with Outer Worlds 2.
Mhm.
I'm still pretty early in the game, maybe 7-8 hours or so, I want to say, because I haven't played too much Outer Worlds. I kind of don't want to play Outer Worlds in between, But since there
Yeah.
are so many other games, and especially Ball X Pit is so addictive, um, um, I thought about holding off on Outer Worlds until I can fully focus on the game because it actually really is good. It is a really, really good game. If you enjoyed the first one, right, you're definitely gonna love this one. And even if you maybe felt that the first one was a bit clunky, I highly recommend to give this a try because they've basically improved everything upon the first game. All right, the shooting and gameplay mechanics feel a lot better. The the RPG system is super rewarding. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
there is no respec, at least not that I have found out. Maybe someone in the chat is going to correct me, but um, there's no, at least no respec that I was able to find yet. So you kind of have to really think about how to spend your ability points and everything. Um, it's it feels way more open than the first one, um, without sacrificing this system where they have like it's not a super massive open world, but you have these open areas. But since those areas are significantly bigger and there's way more side stuff to do, uh, especially long side stuff. Some of these side missions take you 30 to 60 minutes to finish, right? Um, it feels way bigger than the first one. Absolutely. My only criticism is none of the companions are good so far. I haven't found all of them yet. Maybe there's something coming. But the ones I've found so far, not really good. Um, but other than that, I'm super enjoying Outer Worlds 2, and I want to focus more. But I'm currently like jumping in between Ball X Pit and Ninja Gaiden and Call of Duty and Outer Worlds, and that doesn't really give the game enough focus. So I need to finish off a couple of stuff first before I'm going to continue with that and then fully focus and embrace Outer Worlds 2. Yeah. So anything you would like to add to the what's new in the gaming universe?
No, no, I think it's pretty well covered.
All right. Waller Weasel in the chat says the campaign of Call of Duty is a bit silly and doesn't really have a Call of Duty vibe. I'm playing with three friends, and that was a lot of fun. I wish more games had co-op campaigns. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? I guess the Call of Duty campaign can be fun when playing with friends because then you don't really care about the story, and with that the well silliness that has been introduced. But if you play it solo, not really. I'm not really digging it. I'm probably I don't know. I might still finish it because well, Call of Duty campaigns are short, but yeah. All right, Dutch. Good stuff here. Good stuff. Let's get into some gaming topics. Well, this week, Dutch, we celebrated a couple of anniversaries actually. Xbox Series X and Series S and PlayStation 5 had their 5-year anniversary, right? As well as the OG Xbox, and with that, Halo turned 24 years. Old. So, Dutch, we are already 5 years into this console generation before we talk about the OG Xbox Um, PlayStation 5, 5 years old. The
Yeah.
sixth year has started. Xbox sixth year has started. How are we feeling about that, man? It feels like yesterday that
Yeah, does
this
it feels like
generation
yesterday,
launched.
but it also feels like nothing's really happened. Like by that I mean they haven't really. I feel like none of them have really got going.
Yeah,
It
and
sounds strange to say that.
maybe that's why it doesn't feel like 5 years already.
Yeah, it feels like a lot's happened, but nothing's happened. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
Like the big shift for Xbox has been the fact that they've completely bowed out of, essentially, completely bowed out of the console market to a point, and said,
yeah,
"Okay, we're no longer competing with PlayStation. Now we're going to focus on competing
yeah.
um, with like PC and stuff like that." And very, very, very strange.
Yeah, most certainly. I mean, since we had such a weird launch of that in the middle of the pandemic of this gen, right? And and then a very very long cross generational period. Everyone was already almost with every game. It felt like, yeah, we're waiting for this really next gen experience, right? And then
Yeah,
we had years of the first 2 years or 3 years. We had the discussion about, well, the tools are not properly used yet, and this and that, and everyone was kind of waiting for this gen to start. And then the weird things happened, right? The price increases of the consoles and games, and Xbox going fully multi-platform, and we had this super long acquisition phase of 1.5 years of Activision Blizzard, and then PlayStation basically stopped releasing proper first party titles in like we were used to, right? Well, because
yeah.
they at the beginning of the gen they had the game, the Spider-Man and the Miles Morales, and then the
God of
Demon
War.
Souls remake, God of War came out, Horizon Forbidden West came out, and all that stuff. And then suddenly their roadmap or pipeline dried out, right?
Yeah,
Um, and so it kind of feels like this gen we always have been waiting for it to properly start. Now we're sitting here 5 years into the gen. We are already talking about next gen for 1.5 years or so intensively. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous that 1.5 years ago it already started about, oh, those rumors Xbox is starting next gen early in 26, and then all the AMD leaks came out where we learned, okay, PlayStation is going AMD again, and then with next gen, and that also did help like gamers to feel, okay, this gen has properly started. So I'm a gamer for many years. So I became a gamer when I was 6 or 7 years old, so I can say I'm at least gaming for 35 years now.
yeah,
Plus, I'm 42 years old, so I've been playing video games my whole life, and it is definitely the most weird generation we've had. And there were some weird generations in the past, don't get me wrong, right? Like the GameCube generation also was kind of a weird one when Nintendo suddenly dropped out of the hardware race, right? And Sega left the business or the console business entirely. And we had these weird generations before, right? We had super short ones. The OG Xbox was only like 4 years, right? 2001, the OG Xbox came out, and in 2005, the
yeah.
360 came out. We had super short ones, also kind of weird, right? But I don't know how the community feels about this, but this gen kind of is that, at least to me, feels like the most weird generation we've had so far. Dutch, how about you?
Yeah, yeah, like I said, it's hard to really. to really speak on it because the generation, like I say, it feels like it's kind of not really got going. Like both companies have kind of been off
Yeah.
their own pace to the point where you're kind of like, is it really like, is it any of these companies actually at their best? Are they actually trying, or do they actually care?
I mean,
It's a really strange one.
yeah. I mean, you can't say that PlayStation doesn't care. You can't really say that Nintendo doesn't care, and Xbox, they also kind of care, but they gave up on the regular console business. So I wouldn't say they don't care, it- but it definitely is something's up, man. I mean, look at the Xbox, right? This gen, they started this generation without any real games, and that was after acquiring all those studios back in 2018 and 19, right? Um, and after the acquisition of Bethesda and ZeniMax, and they still started this gen without any games. It took us a year to then finally get Forza Horizon and Halo, but after that, we had the longest dry streak any console OEM ever had in terms of game releases, with 1.5 years of basically nothing except Pentiment. Um, and then Redfall came out, right? And it took them like 3 years to properly get into this gen in terms of having a regular cadence of games. I mean, they're good now, right? They have a good, really
Yeah,
good pipeline now, but it took them a long time to get there. Um, and then Sony was kind of vice versa, like we mentioned earlier, right? They started this gen with, well, you can argue, well, they were all sequels, and they had nothing new in terms of new IPs or something, but they had a lot of games in the beginning of the generation. Yeah, there was Ratchet and Clank and Spider-Man, Miles Morales, and then Spider-Man 2 and Horizon and God of War and all that good stuff, right?
yeah,
But then their pipeline dried out. Look at this year. They had Ghost of Tsushima, and that's basically it. And next year they have one game, and that is Wolverine, right? And that's about it. Um, and they are now in this weird position. And then the Switch 2 came out earlier this year, right? Nintendo hasn't also over the last 3, 4, 5 years really released that many big heavy hitters, I would say, right? There was Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, but that's about it. If I think about the last 3, 4 years in terms of kind of must plays, right? There's always Nintendo stuff for the hardcores, right? But the big, there was no, well, Mario game that was a must play until they launched the Switch 2 with Mario Kart. But yeah, um, it was or it still is a weird generation. And then Microsoft and Xbox kind of switched their entire strategy. Well, they switched multiple times to be more precise, right? And now we
yeah.
are talking about Halo on PlayStation, right? And we are talking about Gears on PlayStation, and not really caring about consoles anymore. But on the other hand, there's still pretty much excitement around their their next gen. They're still going to do one, and it's going to be interesting. We'll probably touch on that when we talk about the Steam thing a little later. But um, yeah, kind of weird, Gen, so far.
Very weird.
And
Like I say,
Yo,
it's just a case of these companies they both feel like they've been lacking a little bit of direction.
I agree.
Like they don't quite know where to take the industry like next.
Yeah.
And so they're kind of just scrambling for ideas. And I feel like both of them saying, "Oh, and now let's go kind of more PCs," just kind of scrambling for ideas.
Yeah. That is true. That's very true. Feels like no one has an idea how to grow their business.
Yeah.
It's not that these businesses are doing bad per se, but they are not growing. PlayStation isn't growing, right? It's more or less on par with the PS4 sales. I just read the other day that the PS5 is, in terms of life to date sales, like 2 million consoles behind the PS4. So more or
Yeah.
less on par
Sounds
with
about right.
with that, right? Xbox is still not doing bad per se, but they are not growing the console space either, right? That's why they
Nope.
decided, okay, let's try to grow via becoming a third party publisher, yeah, a multi
Yeah.
platform strategy. PlayStation decided to grow by heavily investing in games as a service titles and miserably failed. Yeah,
Yeah.
basically all of them are
Miserably failed.
canceled now, and now their roadmap is dry. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Well,
Oh yeah. It was
it is
completely
what it
miserable.
is.
Like the strategy for both of them has been completely insane. Like
True.
none of them have actually done what they've intended to do. None of them have actually achieved what they originally set out to achieve.
Yeah. True. But hey, the OG Xbox turned 24 years old just the other day.
That was a generation that knew what it wanted to be.
Indeed, indeed. Did you own an OG Xbox?
I did. Yeah,
Sweet.
I did indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah, Halo got me to buy one of those.
Yeah.
I played Halo in it was Curry's PC World when it was still there. I don't even know if it was Curry's then. Actually, it might have been called something else. But it was in store, and I remember feeling like the force feedback controller for the first time, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is amazing!" Despite the controller being like 500 foot tall and
True that. The
twice the
Duke.
size of me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But still, it still immediately made me want to go out and get an Xbox.
Yeah.
And this is an issue now that they have is I don't think there's something that they have on file that makes you want to go out and get an Xbox.
True. I was living at the time in a shared apartment, and I've heard about Xbox, but since there was absolutely zero marketing, none of the news journals really report, because back in the time we had magazines, right, to get our news from.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
demo discs.
demo discs and all the good stuff. And well, I've heard about this console, but it wasn't really, you didn't see it in stores here. There was no advertisement. It's just like today, man. Nothing has changed over the last 24 years. Yeah, it's still hard to find Xboxes in stores here in Germany, and there's still no advertisement. But at least we know what it is now. But back in the day, I didn't really know that. And my roommate, one evening he came home. At some point, I need to ask him where he actually got that thing from, and he brought that Xbox, and he said, "Well, there's a fantastic game on it. It's called Halo," and we like went out, bought beer and pizza, and started to play a Halo, split screen co-op campaign, and we just had a blast. But we'll never forget that evening. We just had like 2 beers and just started eating pizza, and then his brand new girlfriend called. Yeah, and he was like, "Bro, I gotta ditch you." And I was sitting there with beer and pizza all by myself, and then I played through the entire campaign until the morning, and it was like fantastic, and it made me an Xbox gamer then. The next game that hooked me there was also Morrowind, because I did
Yeah.
have I did have the GameCube and a PlayStation, but I played a lot on PC because there were these massive RPGs like Elder Scrolls, right? And Diablo and all that good stuff that you were just not able to play on a console at the time,
Yeah.
right? And then I bought Morrowind, and it blew me away that I don't need a PC anymore to play those kind of games. And so I would say Halo and Morrowind are the two games that made me an Xbox fan, right?
Yeah. Yeah, for me, it was literally just Halo. If it wasn't, if Halo didn't exist, I would never have picked up an Xbox. Because I was a PlayStation guy before that.
Yeah.
I was on PlayStation 1.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what we had, right? We had
and the Xbox,
Nintendo.
literally, if the Xbox didn't come out, I would have picked up a PlayStation 2 or a PlayStation 3 or whatever the console was at the time.
What's the PlayStation 2? I did
Yeah.
have that. I did have that. But, well, actually, I can't really say that I had that. We had that in our shared apartment. I just started at the university at the time, lived in a shared apartment, right? And we always had consoles there. And just like with the Xbox, one of us hooked something to the television and it never left our living room. So
Okay.
it was kind of just there, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good times, man. Good times. All right, Dutch. Let's talk about some game announcements before we get into the big news. You remember Red Dead Redemption 1, right? Just got announced that it's going to get a remaster. Or, well...
What, an actual remaster or just...
well...
Well,
what is an actual remaster to you?
Was it Rockstar that they announced it, or?
Yeah.
That's strange.
Yeah, and it's also coming to iOS and everything, but also to Xbox and PlayStation, and
yeah, it's gonna be shit.
Then 4K
if it's going to iOS, it's going to be terrible.
Well, I don't know.
That reminds me of the remember when they did the remastered trilogy of Grand Theft Auto?
Yeah.
With San Andreas and things on, and it was absolutely diabolical. It was like the worst thing ever. That's exactly what I'm expecting now. Now you've mentioned that it's going on to iOS.
Well, it's also coming to the Switch 2. It's coming to PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. And it's then 4K 60, right? But I think that's about it in terms of upgrade. And you can upgrade for a few bucks if you own the original on PlayStation or Xbox, right? I mean, that's good. That's good. But I feel like they could have done a proper remaster or even a remake of it, right? To actually really enhance that you get proper, more modern visuals like in Red Dead 2, right?
I don't see how they're going to. I was going to say, unless it was like a complete revamp to make it look like to look like Red Dead 2. We've already got 4K HDR on the game anyway.
Yeah, that's true. Thanks to upscaling and auto resolution and FSR.
Yeah, we've already got that on the game anyway, thanks to the previous update. So
that's very true. So I also don't really feel the need for that, but I think they want to bridge that gap towards GTA6 with at least something. And it feels like an easy money grab. I mean, it's
exactly what it is, a money grab.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I absolutely love Red Dead 1. I think it's better than 2. I stand by that. 2 was great, no doubt. But there are only like 6 games that I consider a 10 out of 10, and Red Dead 1 is one of them. So I absolutely love the first one. But kind of was hoping that they do at least more with it.
Yeah.
But yeah. Hey, now you can play it on mobile.
Woo!
Yay!
That's what it's all about.
I feel like we are a little biased towards mobile gaming, bro.
Yeah. No, what makes you say that?
Do you play mobile games?
Do I? Hell. Absolutely not.
Me
No.
neither. I have 0 games installed on my phone. I don't like the Candy Crush and everything, and I'm not a fan of mobile gaming. I do love handheld gaming, but mobile gaming,
No, I've got like some daft things like Beat Star and Plague Inc. and things like that, but not actual mobile games. If that makes sense.
Yeah. I don't even know what those are that you just mentioned.
One of them's a bit like Guitar Hero
Okay.
with modern music, and Plague Inc. is basically like a daft mobile. Well, in fact, it's on console as well, where you create an infection, and you've got to kind of improve the infection so it can't be wiped out by scientists, and you've got to try and infect the entire planet with a disease. That's it. But it's like a really easy one you can play like on the move or on the plane or something like that.
I've got my handheld for that, man. If I'm on the, I need gaming on the go, I'm gonna pull out my Ellie, and I'm happy with that.
Oh yeah, well I've got a Switch now, so I'm the same.
There you go. I don't know. I mean, maybe it is silly, but and maybe it's also not true. But I feel like mobile gaming is just not really gaming. It's just turn your brain off and do stuff.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I've got Twitter for that. If I want to turn my brain off,
if you want
right?
to completely switch your brain off, I know the feeling. Why I deleted Twitter.
I know. What's up with that, man?
Yeah, it's just I just find myself getting into arguments with people day in day out because of the. It's not like people complaining about both all the consoles or the different ones or console war and all the time. It's people complaining about people complaining about console wars, and then it's people complaining about the people who complain about the console wars, and it's just this endless cycle of negativity, and I just don't need that in my life.
I can understand that, man. Understand that. Yeah, well. But since we are talking about mobile games, man, PlayStation has announced a couple of mobile games. On the 5th anniversary of the PlayStation 5, Sony has announced an Horizon and Ratchet and Clank mobile game that's also coming to PC. Horizon, it kind of looks like like a Monster Hunter game kind of thing. And I've seen people not really being excited about it because, well, mobile gaming first, and it's not coming to PlayStation, right? And it's two of their main IPs on PlayStation, right? Ratchet and Clank has been there for decades, and well, Horizon is also one of their big pillar core franchises, and then they bring those games to PC and mobile, but not to the console. So, Dutch, have you seen that, man?
Yes, I've seen that. Yeah, it's I think it got dropped in one of the group chats. I have seen that, and that's typical PlayStation at the minute. This is exactly what I mean about losing direction. Your console's currently sitting there with barely a single first party game a year.
Yeah.
Barely.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm talking like an actual decent single player IP, something that you would trademark Sony for. Instead, they're releasing like niche games that are by second party or MMOs or Asian games, etc. That's not for everyone's cup of tea. And instead of releasing something like big first party game on PlayStation, nope, we're going to do a new Ratchet and a new Horizon, but on mobile and PC and not on PlayStation. Strange.
Yeah, it is kind of strange. Like you said, it feels like, what is the strategy behind this? Are they trying to get big into mobile gaming now? Is that the message? Is it a PC target with mobile attached, or what is it? Right? But to be really successful on PC, they also have not shown any interest so far in doing their own launcher or to take that more serious with day and date releases, except for some second party things like Helldivers. But it is kind of weird. And well, actually the Horizon game really doesn't look too bad for a mobile game, right? But yeah, it is. I have zero interest in that. I'm super biased towards mobile gaming. I admit that, and it's probably not fair. I guess if you would really look, there would be probably some good mobile games out there by now, but I have zero interest in that. And it's kind of weird considering that, just like you, we play on everything, right? We have an Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, a PC, a handheld PC, and everything. But mobile gaming,
Yeah, absolutely zero interest in mobile gaming.
All right, Dutch. All right, dude. Tomorrow, the Game of the Year nominations for the Game Awards will be officially revealed.
Yeah.
I mean, not even all games have come out yet. I feel like
it happens every year.
Yeah, but it feels like every year they announce it a week earlier, right?
Yeah.
They used to a week before the show or so, and to announce the Game of the Year nominees a week before that. I feel that's good, but now it's like a month before that, right? Almost a month. But yeah, six nominees, Dutch. Any guesses what that might be? And people in the chat, let us know. What do you guys think will be the nominees at the Keeleys this year?
Clear Obscura.
If that doesn't get nominated, I mean, dude, the internet would be on fire.
Yeah. Death Stranding 2.
Yeah, since it's the Keeleys, you can assume that. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about Hades? Hades 2?
Possibly Hades 2, possibly Hollow Knight, Silksong.
Could be, yeah.
I'm trying to think of the big games. I don't think Doom
that's
Eternal getting anywhere near it.
Doom. I don't think that Doom is in there. I feel like this is also very weird this year because I remember us doing, and we're probably going to do this year also, the big Game of the Year show at the end of the year. Last year and the year before that, we also did the show, and every year we do that, and it's always kind of controversial what games to put in there. And I feel like this year it was a good year for gaming, but there were not many games that really stood out. I mean, Expedition 33 absolutely up there. One of the best years I've played in years, honestly. But other than that, there have been great games or good games that I've played, but none of them stood out. You could argue about Kingdom Come Deliverance, right? great game, no doubt, but a horrible combat system that really, I wouldn't say like I could put that up for a nomination of Game of the Year. Silk Song was good. It was really good, but nah, for me, not a Game of the Year contender. Doom, fun game, no doubt, but is that a Game of the Year? Couldn't Borderlands, Mafia, all good games, no doubt, right? Ninja
Yeah.
Gaiden, good game. Avowed, good game. But is Avowed a Game of the Year? I really can't
Nope.
say that. And I feel like I don't know how the community sees this, but I feel like even though I have played great games this year, very few I would argue about, okay, that's a Game of the Year contender, right? I don't know how you feeling, man.
Oh, I'm exactly the same. I wouldn't put it in Game of the Year. It's very few. Like Expedition 33, yes.
Absolutely.
But that's it.
Maybe
That's like
maybe it's also because it's this year so clear that it's got to be Expedition 33, right? That we feel about the others all being good, but none of them really stood out. Luke in the chat says lots of extra games that could get a nomination: Donkey Kong, Death Stranding, Kingdom Come
yeah, I said Death
Deliverance.
Stranding.
Yeah,
Donkey Kong possibly, but I don't know again.
I haven't played Donkey Kong, so I can't judge on that, but I don't feel like there was enough hype that I would say, okay, that's maybe a game of the year. But then hype isn't really or shouldn't be the judgment, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ghost of Yotei he mentions. Yeah, that's the one game that I haven't played yet. And well, since it's Jeff Keighley, right?
Yeah.
And it's a PlayStation game. It's the only PlayStation game this year. Yeah, agree. Could be in there. Blueprints. He mentions also Blueprints. That I mean, a lot of indie games could be nominated. Expedition 33 falls under that ballpark, right? We have Hades 2. We have Silksong, Blueprints. I would throw in Ball X Pit, honestly. Awesome. Best indie game I've played this year. At least most addictive one. A lot of smaller games could be in there this year, man.
Yeah, but then it also makes you think like, but if we're being honest, there won't be that many indie games nominated either. As much as they are great indie games,
I agree.
I don't believe that he would, nor would the industry.
Yeah.
So that means it'll leave it to nominating like pretty average video games for Game of the Year.
Yep. I agree. They're probably gonna
It
have
sounds
one of
horrible.
them in
It
there.
honestly sounds horrible saying that as well, like calling games average. But like, as we've had a lot of great games this year, but we haven't had a lot of
Standouts.
standout games this
Yeah.
year, which is why Claire Obscura is a standout. And I wouldn't even go as far as to say Ghost of Yotei is a standout because it isn't. It's just more of the same.
I haven't played it yet, but it most certainly looks like it, and it is. That doesn't mean it's bad. Don't get me
Yeah,
wrong, because
exactly.
Ghost of Tsushima was fantastic, the first one. Yeah. And
Yeah.
if it's more of the same, I'm happy with that. It's cool. All good. But does that make a Game of the Year contender? I don't know. I mean, again, I also had plenty of fun with About. I really enjoyed About. But would I say that it's a Game of the Year?
No. No, I loved Avowed as well. I absolutely loved Avowed, but it is not Game of the Year.
I haven't finished Outer Worlds 2 yet, so but I
But
also
even then,
feel
like I know, I
it's not a
loved Outer
Game of
Worlds
the Year
1.
contender. Yeah.
Yeah, I loved Outer Worlds 1, but I know going into Outer Worlds 2 that it's not a Game of the Year contender.
Yeah.
Even before playing it, I'm like, no, I know it's not. It's horrible to say that, but it isn't. There's nothing that it does
Yeah.
that stands out as a contender for that particular category.
I agree.
And I think that's an issue we've had this generation, truly. Ignoring the start of the gen, but an issue we've had this generation is the fact that we've had a lot of great games, but we haven't had a lot of standout games. We haven't had a lot that really pushed the industry forward. We've just had a lot of great games.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you could say Cyberpunk and Elden Ring and Expedition 33, right? But yeah,
But
it's not a lot. I know
yeah,
there have been a few, but not a lot.
yeah.
I just remembered, man. Actually, Indiana Jones should be eligible to be nominated tomorrow.
Do you think so?
Well, it is in that, since it wasn't eligible to be nominated last year, it should be in this year's room of
Yeah, but it won't be. You know what they
possibilities.
like.
But I doubt that Keeley is gonna nominate Indiana Jones.
Well, you never know because it released on PlayStation this year, so.
Oh, that's very true. Very true.
And now it's a PlayStation game. You probably will nominate it.
Are you suggesting that Keeley could be a little biased here?
Oh, me suggest that? Never. I would never do such a thing.
Yeah, true. I mean, that's no secret, right? But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to some degree because it's even though we always complain about the Keeley since it is the biggest award show in video games, right? It's always kind of interesting to talk about this. So, yeah. And I hope that Indiana Jones would deserve, in a year like this, where we didn't have that many standout games. We had a lot of great games, but not many standout games. I feel like Indiana Jones would deserve a spot. I'm gonna throw it out there. Give a nomination to Indiana Jones, man. Anyway, Dutch, we'll find out tomorrow. We'll find out on Monday. Ash2X in the chat says, Expedition 33, without a doubt. Assassin's Creed Shadows was outstanding. I actually agree. And if I would, in my personal list of the 6 best games I've played this year, I would put in Shadows because it was really good. And Ash2X also mentions Wuchang Fallen Feathers. His number 2 this year. Well, I haven't played it, so I can't speak on it. But yeah, that's the thing about these Game of the Year lists, right? Everyone's list looks different. And Ash2X is also throwing one out for Ball X Pit. That's the real deal, he says. And I agree, man. Definitely the most addictive game this year. But Assassin's Creed Shadows kind of got overlooked, dude. Just because it's a Ubisoft game. But it was actually a really, really good game. And definitely one of the best ones I've played this year. And I've played
That's
a lot.
fair. I mean, I still haven't played it. I'll wait for it to never really go onto a very deep sale before I pick it up.
Just get 1 month of Ubisoft Plus, man.
Nah, I own all of the titles anyway. the Assassin's Creed, so I may as well pick it up to add to the collection, even if I pick it up on the cheap.
You're gonna love it, dude. It's one of the best Assassin's Creed I've played, honestly. Not the best one, but definitely up there. And in a year where like this, I would say, well, in my personal list of Game of the Year nominations, it's probably going to be in there. We'll find out about our lists towards the end. We are going to do another interactive show, right? Where we vote along with the community, just like we did last year. That was a super fun show. We're gonna do that again. Yeah.
Yeah, well, why not? Why not?
Yeah, we gotta do that. That was so much fun. We just need to figure out a better system, which games we gonna let compete against each other, right? That was the one bug we had last year. But other than that, it was a fantastic experience last year. So we definitely need to do that again. All right, Dutch. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Steam.
Yes, Steam.
Steam announced hardware this week.
Yep.
And hardware announcements are always fun, right? So, they announced a Steam machine, a Steam controller, and the Steam Frame, a VR headset, right? Nobody's talking about the controller or the headset, at least not that I've seen, but everyone's interested in the Steam machine. It's a little cube. And I've seen on Twitter the name Gape Cube thrown around, which is most certainly fitting. So Steam is gonna now release next year. They haven't really announced a proper date yet, and no price. But they are going to release basically a console version of the Steam Deck, I would say, right?
Yeah, that's the easiest way of putting it.
Yeah. It's gonna run Steam OS, right? So it's for the TV, right? A Steam machine, like they had one, I want to say at least 10 years ago, probably even longer before that. They already tried that once, but back in the time they didn't really have the Steam OS ready, right? And there were only very, very limited games on that machine available because it ran on Linux and nothing ran on Linux. And this is different now, right? With the Steam Deck, they have developed the Steam OS, which runs almost all Steam games, right? Whether the device itself, the Steam Deck, can handle those games is a different question to be asked. But at least you can boot up everything. And this machine got announced without a price, but it's coming in 2026, right? And well, before we get into some of the hardware specs, Dutch, what were your thoughts about this? Because I've seen a lot of controversial discussions out there. Some were throwing out, Steam beat Xbox to the game. This is basically a new console. It is gonna destroy Xbox and PlayStation. You see those kind of comments, and everything in between this spectrum, right, of kind of comments. So what were your thoughts on this, man?
It's not going to be any of those. If you've seen the specs, you would know that it's not going to be any of those. Yes, the GPU is weaker. The CPU is significantly better because it's a Zen 4 CPU.
But with that clock speed, it's probably not. I mean,
they too much better.
Digital Foundry had a hands-on right with it, and a couple of other outlets as well. It's probably going to be positioned power-wise somewhere in between the Xbox Series S and the PlayStation 5. Probably going to lean a little bit more towards the PlayStation 5 in that power spectrum, but somewhere in that ballpark between an Xbox Series S and a PS5.
Yep.
So
yeah, it's somewhere there, but that's, I mean, it would have to rely on being cheap. They've done these things before. We've had these Steam consoles before.
true.
They didn't sell well the first time around.
But it was a different story back then.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Kind of, but not really. I still don't suspect that it'll do awfully well.
I mean, the question is, what is awfully well, right? If you look, I mean, Steam considers the Steam Deck an absolute success, right? And it's still, we don't really know the numbers. The numbers we've seen are between 6 to 9 million, somewhere in that ballpark. And they consider that an absolute success because it's not, the business for them is not like with a traditional console OEM, right? If the Nintendo Switch only sold 9 million consoles, they would consider that a massive failure, right?
Yeah.
Same goes for PlayStation, same goes even for Xbox, right? But with Steam, that's obviously different. So it really depends on what you consider a absolute success, right? Yeah, Dutch, I've seen discussions. Who is this for? For whom is this, right? What are your thoughts? What is Valve trying to do with that?
Tap into a new market. Well, tap into a bigger slice of the Steam user market. Having seen potentially Xbox open up their console to Steam library on both handheld and potentially console for the next gen, but also see PC handhelds come into the fray a little bit more. I think they're getting a little bit mixed up with who handhelds are for and who PCs are for.
Mm.
Because ultimately, a Steam console is still a PC. It's just refined to have Steam OS only. So you don't have to worry about the basic PC rigmarole when setting it up, which is one of the bonuses of having it.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it's for the PC guy that isn't really bothered about specs. That's it. It's a cheap PC for someone who isn't bothered about specs.
Well, it kinda is, but then it doesn't run Windows, right?
I think some people would be okay with that.
I think a lot of people will be okay with that. Because a lot of the PC gaming pain actually doesn't come from the games itself. It comes from Windows, right?
Yep.
The constant update issues and having to update in multiple places and tinkering around with driver here, update there. That's the pain, right? If you want to start a PC game, it takes you, I don't know, 30 minutes to an hour until you have updated all the drivers and then find the settings and do this and that. And a lot of this pain comes actually from Windows. So I feel like they have an advantage there because the Steam OS, yes, has also its issues, but it also eliminates a lot of the pain that is PC gaming, right? All the updates are in one place. If there are updates available, you just click one button, update, and be done with it. And then, yes, playing around with the proper settings, right? Do I get, I don't know, medium or high shadows and texture quality and this and that, right? All these kind of settings, well, they have that with the Steam Deck optimization kind of thing already in place. And so I feel like the Steam OS itself is actually really good. It frees up a lot of resources. Yeah, the Proton base layer that they are using is way more efficient than the bloated Windows experience. I mean, granted, Xbox has been trying to do that as well with the full screen experience to just shut off a lot of stuff that Windows runs in the background.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like that's actually an advantage. So then the question comes up, Dutch, since the specs are low to medium spec PCs, right? Somewhere in that
Yeah.
ballpark. The question comes up, who is this for?
I would still say it's for the average PC user that's just getting into PC gaming for the first
Yeah.
time.
I agree. I think, see, the thing is, PC, a lot of people have a Steam account, right? Because everyone has a PC. For some, yeah, that's obvious because everyone needs to have a PC, right? Or a
Yeah.
laptop or something. Yeah. So a lot of people have a Steam account, but hooking your PC to your television to get that easy to use and convenient gaming experience isn't there. Even hooking a laptop to a TV can be a pain in the ass, right?
Yeah.
Until you get like all the settings right, HDR is not properly working, and then you have tearing issues and so on. So hooking a PC to a TV really isn't a fun experience, especially if you think about the more casual games. I mean, the tech savvy people, they power through that and do all the research what you need to do to get a PC properly running on a TV, right? But most people don't bother, and I think for those people it is this is the device, right? If you have
Yeah.
your ecosystem somehow in Steam and you're not looking for that 5090 experience, right? But you just want to play a game, I feel like that is a fair proposition there, right? I mean, it all comes down to the price, and we haven't talked about that yet. But what do you think? Where they going to position that price point of that thing, or
Oh,
what do
that's a
you
good
think
one.
they need to position it to for it to become successful?
Yes. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I
So,
do. I think they do need to position it to become successful. I think it needs to be. I think it needs to be possibly in the region of. Oof.
I mean, with the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X, we are in the ballpark of 550 to 600 now. Yeah, depending on where you live. So in that ballpark.
Yeah, I would still say probably in the region of, God, like 500 or less for the Steam console. I think it's just so niche. Is the issue? It's like because such a niche audience that it would have to be. It would have to be low priced in order to get any traction.
Mm.
And the good thing is the Steam Deck isn't exactly expensive.
It's true. It's true. I mean, they
Steam Deck's like 350, 400 tops.
yeah, 400 around 400 is the 512 gigabyte version of
Mhm.
something.
Exactly, the AMOLED. Steam
Yeah,
Deck AMOLED or whatever it's called.
yeah. The OLED one is a little bit more. Let me check real quick. I think the OLED is already at 500 or so. Steam Deck. Where? Yeah, the 250 gigabyte version is at 420, and the OLED starts at 570 euros with 512 gigs. And then they have the 1 terabyte version at 680.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I feel this is the thing. I feel if they can price it at 500 or below, I could see that actually being a good value proposition for people that already do have a big Steam library and just want to have something in the living room where they can easily access their games.
Yeah.
If we are talking already at the price of 600, then you really gotta ask the big question, right? Because you can get a PlayStation or a Xbox for that well doesn't play your Steam library, but also provides you a lot more power, more bigger SSD, and is especially tailored for that experience that you are looking for playing games on the TV. And people that do want to do that typically already have a console, so it's kind of hard to penetrate that market from that perspective. And then you also gotta ask the question, when will Xbox come out with their next console? Because that's basically the same thing, right? Except that it also plays all your Xbox games, and it provides you Game Pass, and it lets you allows you to access good old games and Epic and so on. Because that's the thing, the Steam machine doesn't allow you to play Game Pass. It doesn't allow you to play Epic, right? And it doesn't have some of the biggest games out there with Fortnite and so on. Yeah, those games are not on Steam. And so since Xbox is releasing their console, my guess is still 27, but pretty close, just a year or so apart to the Steam machine, right? That then also allows you to access all your Steam library. But on top of that, you can play Fortnite, and you can play Roblox, and you can play Warzone, and you can play everything that PC Game Pass has to offer, and Epic, and good old games, and so on. It's a very different value proposition. And yes, it's probably not going to be at the price point of 600 or so, the next Xbox. We are probably going to talk there 800 to 900, if not $1,000, right?
Yeah.
But it has also way different specs, better specs, yeah. Because this Steam machine is below a PS5, at least on paper.
Yeah.
And you know absolutely for sure that the next Xbox console, in, let's assume just for the sake of argument here, in 27, is gonna have a massive boost in specs over the PS5, and for that matter the Xbox Series X, right? So that's really something to consider with this Steam machine, yeah. I mean, I would argue that the ROG Xbox LE is in that ballpark of specs. Probably not, because the ROG Xbox LEX is, I would say, pretty close to a Series S, right? And so the Steam machine might just be a little over that in terms of pure compute performance, but the ROG LEX allows me also to access everything, right? And I can also hook that up to my TV. Granted, again, since it's PC, it's not the same experience, or probably not the same experience like hooking up a Steam machine, but you can do it, right? So it's that raised the question to me: who's the target audience? But then on the other hand, I really do like the value, or I can't say the value proposition, but I do like that they are trying to do something like that. Because one thing is sure, they are basically doing what Xbox also wants to do, right? Bring PC gaming into the living room. And the Steam OS has its advantages over what Xbox or Microsoft has been doing with the full screen experience. And
Yeah.
so I've been rambling on for a long time, Dutch. What are your thoughts, man?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it is an interesting little thing, and depending on the price, might even end up picking one up just for another. But the only thing I hope for is that we don't have to use that horrendous Steam controller.
It does look horrendous. I mean, I don't want to judge because let's face it, the original Xbox controller also looked horrible, or the GameCube controller looked horrible, but actually felt pretty good in the hand. So
yeah, I think it's still going to be horrible. I mean, it hasn't went for offset sticks, which is an automatic no-no.
absolutely, especially when you're playing shooters, right?
Yeah. So as long as I can connect other controllers to it, like an Xbox controller or a Switch controller, that'd be fine.
Let me shout out Sithlord.
It's an interesting proposition, but if it's
hang
in the
on,
ballpark of like,
keep that thought in mind. I want to shout out Sithlord because he just dropped a game code in the chat. Right?
Nice.
So thank you so much, and someone from the community go and grab it. It's a Steam.
What was it for?
He didn't say, and I don't want to try out the Sithlord. Let us know what's the game code for. But yeah, Dutch, I interrupted you. Sorry, but I just wanted to shout out Sithlord real quick for that.
Yeah, I mean, if it's priced at like 400, 500, then I can say doing okay. If it's priced anything over that, I think it's not really going to do that well.
I agree. And it also depends, of course, on how they market it. Is it going to be available in retail? Are they going to run ad campaigns? Is it just...
I don't think it'll be retail. I don't think it's Steam. I don't think Steam Deck's retail. I think Steam Deck's on Steam, isn't it?
It's just on Steam, yeah.
Yeah.
And they didn't, at least here in Germany, I don't know about the UK, Dutch, but here in Germany, they didn't really advertise the Steam Deck outside of Steam. Of course, it was there like front and center, or still is, if you go to Steam. But they didn't market it outside of Steam. So it really depends there. But then let's not forget, Valve is a super small company. They only have they don't even have 500 workers there. The staff is, I think, I heard the number 300, somewhere in that ballpark, right? It's a super small company. Of course, they cannot run like massive ad campaigns and do retail, and you need a gigantic staff for that. So, and that was my point earlier, right? It really depends on what is a success, because let's face it, the next Xbox console is also not gonna do big numbers.
No.
Yeah. With all the controversy around Xbox, I don't see that the next. It's probably gonna do still above 10 million, obviously, but if everything that we heard so far, Sarah Bond coming out, yeah, this is a super premium experience. So, suggesting that this is really gonna be a premium price. You're gonna get good hardware for it, but it's gonna be a premium price. They are not gonna subsidize the console anymore. Also, impact on price, right? With the multi-platform strategy, a lot of people say, well, then I just move to PC or just get a PlayStation and play the Xbox games there. So, but if you are not subsidizing hardware. You make actual money off of the hardware. I think you can still live with 10 million, 15 million, even 20 million, something, yeah, units sold, and consider it a success. So it's really the question, if you are not thinking about the traditional console market, if you think about the PC market, look at how many pre-built PCs is Asus selling, right?
Yeah.
They always bring out these lines of pre-built PCs, but how many of those are they actually selling? Probably not even a
Yeah.
million per version. Yeah, and still that's a success for them. And if you think about, again, the Steam Deck with its 7, 8, 9 million, somewhere in that ballpark units sold, is considered a massive success for Valve. So what is a success? And the same question is going to be raised with the next Xbox console. Even if we will have that discussion in a couple of years when the numbers are there and we say, well, they've only sold 15 million units. But that could still be considered a success if you don't look it from a console OEM perspective, but from a hardware manufacturing perspective, right?
Yeah. It could be. It depends on what they class as success. What do they class as success?
Yeah.
They've got a lot of users, so
Yeah. So is Xbox and PlayStation doomed after Steam going in there? Because it's obviously like they are targeting for that console audience, people that like the console convenience. So do you see that this is shifting customers away from Sony or Xbox?
no. No, not at all. Not at all. It's a completely different audience.
What makes you say that, man?
It always has been. Steam's never been the same audience as console PC.
Is that still true after
Yeah.
Xbox doing so many moves on PC?
Yeah. I think it's still true. Most PC players don't want anything to do with the Xbox store.
True. That is true. Yeah, well, we shall see, Dutch. We shall see. Did you see the announcement of Valve with the VR headset?
I did.
What are your thoughts on this, man? I know you're not a big VR gamer, but
It's, you know what it is? It's not so much that I'm not a big VR gamer, it's that I think I'm more of a VR experience kind of guy. Like I like the VR experience, but I'm not really fussed on gaming in VR.
yeah. So, what are your thoughts on the VR headset, man?
Uh, is it pushing the boat? I don't know. I haven't looked at the specs of it. Is it going to push the boat forward in VR? Is it going to have better visuals, etc.? I know it's a standalone headset, and it doesn't require anything else. But is it going to literally going to be any better or any different, or is it just going to be yet another headset?
It's it is. Well, it depends on price, right? But the specs aren't too bad, man. Specs are actually good. It always depends, of course, on the price tag. But it should definitely beat the PlayStation VR 2. Also, no wires, right? And the specs aren't too bad, man. It really depends if they are going to price that at $1,500. Of course, it would be ridiculous. But the specs themselves do look promising, actually, for a good VR experience. So I was a little bit surprised about that, because it feels like that the VR market is kind of dead, right? There's barely any VR games coming, at least none that people really, really want to talk about. Then but then of course the best VR game out there is from Valve. It's Half-Life Alyx, right? It is, if and Valve probably has way better numbers than we do, right? On how much or how time people are spending in VR games. And obviously, if they wouldn't consider that a market, they wouldn't have announced it or built it, developed it, right? I found
Yeah.
it really interesting that they obviously see a future in that VR space. And not just a future, but actively investing into it by making hardware for it. So let's see. All in all, I don't think that this will impact the console market per se in the short run, right? Because it is a weird time when to release these hardware devices. We are coming to an end of this gen. We mentioned it earlier. We are talking for 1.5 years now about the next gen consoles. We know that Xbox is gonna do a multi-platform console that allows you to play Xbox games, that allows you to play Steam games, and all the other stuff. Epic, Fortnite will be there, which isn't available there. So I don't think it will directly change the market. I think it could change a little bit the way how Xbox and Sony, for that matter, might think about the PC space, because Sony hasn't really been like super invested in the PC space, right?
Yeah.
Most of their games don't launch day and date. Of course, they are bringing their games, but then like 2 years, 3 years after launch, when the hype is gone around the game, then they are releasing their God of War on PC, and not when the game is new and hot and everyone talks about it. And maybe with Steam pushing in the living room, right? Maybe that will lead to some thought process within Sony to bring maybe games more day and, or even really actually day and date. Maybe it will change the console space like that, but I don't see that the Steam machine is like, well, taking away big numbers from PlayStation, Nintendo, or Microsoft, right?
Yeah.
Well, we shall see, Dutch. Anything you would like to add?
No, I mean, it's interesting that they did. It was unfortunate, again, that it leaked before it was announced.
Yeah.
But again, they've done these kind of units before, and they weren't that popular at the first time. So we'll see. It depends on the price. I think, like I say, if it's around 400 or 500, it should be okay. But there's going to be some form of market to it. The form factor is good because it's small.
Yes.
Really
absolutely.
small unit.
Small unit. And you can change the face plates, right?
Yeah.
Which is nice to have in your living room.
Yeah.
Let's see. Hopefully, at least Xbox will take notice of this in how to do a proper gaming OS. Right?
Yeah. Steam OS is really simple, especially big picture.
Yeah.
Steam big picture is super simple.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
We shall see, indeed. All right, Touch. Let us move to another topic. Some might consider that old news because it actually, the news came out, Thursday last week, where we didn't have a podcast. And so
Yeah.
we still didn't have the chance to talk about it. And I want to bring that up because, the biggest game of 2026, right? GTA 6 got delayed again.
Yeah.
It's now coming on in November of 2026. It was supposed to come out in May. And, first of all, we didn't have the chance to talk about that, but I also wanted to use that as an opportunity to talk to you about 2026 and its lineup, because I feel like them moving GTA 6, the big juggernaut, into the holiday season will definitely have an impact on a lot of other games that were supposed to come out next year, right? PlayStation wanted to bring out Wolverine, and we all knew it's gonna be a holiday or big holiday title, so somewhere in October or November or something, yeah. And Xbox has a lot of games coming next year: Fable, Halo, Gears, Forza, yeah, all those big heavy hitters for Xbox. And most of them would probably be launched also in that holiday season. And then we have big third-party publishers launching games next year in that holiday season. And now that this big juggernaut GTA 6 has moved into that space, it will definitely impact somehow the release schedule of 2026, because let's face it, nobody with their mind set up in the correct way will even try to launch a big game close to GTA 6. So what are your thoughts, man? How will this impact? What do you think about the delay? There's a lot to discuss here.
Yeah, I don't really know what to think of the delay per se. I don't think it's really going to be much of a massive impact. But I also understand the industry's already tried to shift its games to move out of the way of GTA the first time, and now they're going to have to do it again the second time. So it's more of a logistical issue for the industry. They're just like more fed up, I would suppose. Fed up that they've probably spent a lot of time intentionally avoiding GTA only to get stuck with GTA.
Mm. Yeah. True.
If Fable sticks where it is now, it's going to be in a good position.
Why is that?
Because Fable was originally meant to be the beginning, first section of next year.
They didn't say. They did only say it's gonna come out in 26. So who's
I'm
to
sure it
say?
was the beginning of 26.
I would assume so. I would say.
I'm sure they said spring 26.
I don't think so.
I'm sure they did.
You're sure?
Mm.
Maybe the community can help us out here, but I would assume Fable to be there, because let's face it, I've seen comments online that, well, now Xbox has to move their entire lineup, and I don't think that, because even though Xbox has a lot of games coming next year, big games coming, yeah, with Forza Horizon 6 and Gears E-Day and Fable and Halo, I don't think that they will all launch those in the holiday season. That's not all October, November releases, right? They will try to spread that out. I feel like Halo is not gonna be a holiday title. Halo is their summer title, and I agree with Fable. I feel Fable is spring, March, April, somewhere in that ballpark. Yeah.
Yeah.
And and then we are realistically talking about a Forza Horizon, and Forza are typically launched in September.
August, September, yeah.
Yeah. So that's a pretty good distance towards GTA in November. Yeah. And well, then it depends when GTA is coming November 18th, and where do they position Gears E-Day? And maybe they move that up to early October then, right? Because they
Yeah.
have Call of Duty coming as well, more towards the end of October or beginning of November somewhere. So I don't think that this is gonna really impact Xbox's timing schedule. I feel like PlayStation could be a different thing, because then Wolverine would be smart for them to put that early November or something. But maybe they just move that up a month then, and also bring it
Yeah.
earlier in October or so. And November 18th really is more towards the end of the possible launch window, because barely any game comes out after the middle of November, right? The nominations for Game of the Year are through. You want to reach the Christmas window, and so barely any game. I know Indiana Jones did it last year with an early December release, but that's the exception. If you look at this year, basically everything is out by now. The only game worth mentioning that is gonna come out for the rest of the year is Octopath Traveler. But then that's about it. So yeah, GTA definitely will have an impact there. But I don't think that it will heavily impact Xbox's lineup, because Halo is gonna be summer, somewhere June, maybe even July. Yeah, I could see Halo Combat Evolved actually being a June showcase announcement, and it's out now, because they will, at the June showcase next year, they will definitely heavily celebrate the 25th anniversary, even though that's actually in November. But of course, since it's a June showcase, they will talk a lot about that. We are 25 years old now, and to celebrate, we have Halo out here, and we already launched Fable, and we're gonna launch Forza in September, and Gears in October or so.
Yeah.
Also, they don't want to position Gears against Call of Duty.
No, definitely not.
Not
Definitely not.
that Call of Duty would be a better game in any way, shape, or form, but Call of Duty and Gears are gonna, they're both in the competitive shooter space, right? And they don't want to launch those toward against each other. So I feel Gears is, like I said, early October, end of October, beginning of November is Call of Duty, and then they are done for the year. And so I don't think that GTA, and I mean GTA could also slip again. Don't forget that, right?
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, who knows by this point? I've lost all hype for GTA.
It'll come back. Once we've seen gameplay, it'll come back, man. It'll come back. I mean, I really do like the quote from Miyamoto, right? That a delayed game is eventually good, but a rushed game is forever bad. They, and they shall take all the time they need, right? I just wonder why they always put out those dates if you're not sure you can reach it. This is a general thing with publishers, right? It's not just Rockstar does it, but if you're not sure that you can achieve May, why put that date out?
Yeah.
Not just say, "Hey, we're coming in 26," or whenever it's ready, like Clockwork Revolution did, right? It's gonna come out when it's ready. Be done. Why is that Dutch? That they always put these dates out.
I think it's to try and generate hype, but then of course, if it isn't ready on time, then it completely backfires.
True. I could also see that being done because of the shareholders.
Yeah, 100%. And shareholders will be trying to get them to target to release it as soon as possible.
Yeah. True. So, yeah. I mean, do we know about third-party games in the holiday season already next year? Because the big third-party games are more targeting earlier next year that we do know about. So we know about Crimson Desert, for instance, right? But that's, I think, a March release or something.
Yeah.
So do we actually know games from third parties that might be impacted by this delay?
No, I don't think we do.
Not really. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, GTA delayed. The industry will be able to handle it. Let's put it this way, because I've seen a lot of concerns about that. Yeah. H2X in the chat says GTA6 is coming May 27. Yeah, it's a possibility that it's gonna get delayed again. I mean, Rockstar knows they have like this massive success. It's even if the game turns out to be bad, it's still gonna be a success, right? So, and I actually appreciate that they could have easily launched a buggy GTA in May. They could have easily done that. Then update and apologize and update, and it would still be a massive success. But and it's definitely not a cheap delay, considering the massive staff that is behind GTA 6 and the shareholders expecting a return of investment and everything that goes into making these decisions. But for them to do it anyway, I think that's a good thing. And if it needs a further delay, I hope they will be able to do that, right?
Hopefully, but you just never know these days.
Also very true, Dutch. Also very true. All right. Let's talk about Elder Scrolls for a minute. Todd Howard came out this week and talked about a little bit, at least a little bit, about Elder Scrolls 6. And he said it's still a long way off. And that is coming 7 years after it was announced. It was announced in 2018.
Yeah.
Along with Starfield back in the time. 7 years after it was announced, it's still a long ways off. He also was asked about whether the stealth drop of Oblivion was kind of a blueprint, that he likes that it's to just talk about a game closer to launch and everything. And after he was asked if Oblivion was a blueprint, he said you could consider that a test run, and it was a successful one. So, what do you think about Elder Scrolls, man? When will we see the game? When will we actually hear something meaningful about it? And what do you make of long ways off?
Ooh, I don't make anything of it, to be fair, these days, because I kind of expected it myself to be quite a way off. I didn't expect it to be close.
What
Did
is
you
long
expect it to be
ways
so?
off for you?
For a couple of years at least, about 3-4 years.
Honestly, in my mind, it was like maybe a 27 release. Because yeah, they did to come out and already said, well, they announced Elder Scrolls 6 too early, and 2018 definitely is too early to announce a game, right?
Yeah.
And then not release it for a decade. But I also feel like, well, Starfield has been a while now. Starfield was 23, so Starfield has been out for 2 years now. We've heard that the game went into full production like a couple of months after Starfield, so the game has been in full production for a while now, and it's most likely not going to be a 26 game, but 27 is something I could have said. Well, I feel like that could be a possibility, especially considering that this might be the year for the next gen to start. And everything looks like 27 is going to be the year for next gen. I think you said it on the podcast last time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Next year, the announcement, and 27, the next gen starts. And what better way or what better game to have along with a console launch than an Elder Scrolls game?
Yeah.
So, well, it really, I think it depends on what you consider long ways off. I mean, 2 years from now is still long ways off in my mind. Yeah, especially in this day and age where we have a very short news cycle and hype cycle and everything. So I feel like,
Yeah, I agree. Depends on what the class is long way off.
yeah,
Could be anything. Could be like a couple of years. Could be 5 years. Could be 10 years. You don't know
true,
what's long way off.
true. Because 28, 29, if you think about this, yeah, from the date where you announced the game, where they have actually basically started working on it, but a decade plus, but then you look at games like GTA and everything, right? That need that many years and many delays, and I think it also comes down to what they're trying to do with Elder Scrolls 6. Are they playing it safe and make a new Elder Scrolls game in the vein of Oblivion and especially in the vein of Skyrim? Or are they actually trying to do something new and innovative, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to tell.
Definitely. Speaking of games that got delayed, you know which game got delayed? Rise of Hydra.
Yes, it
Marvel
did.
game.
Yeah, I could see that one coming.
That was still supposed to come out early 26, and it now just got delayed beyond early 26. Considering that we have not seen really anything except an in-engine cinematic CGI trailer, right? I would have been surprised if that game came out early 26. I mean, early 26 would mean February, March, April, something like that, right?
Yeah.
And we haven't seen anything of the game, gameplay wise, or, well, except that one CGI trailer, yeah. So
That's why I don't. This is why I've got like no. I know why it's being delayed because, again, there's been nothing said about any of it.
Yeah. Absolutely. Although I'm actually interested in it.
The only Marvel kind of game that I've enjoyed was Guardians of the Galaxy, and none of them have came close to living up to that since. That was an actual fun game to play. Didn't take itself too seriously.
That
Story was good, acting was good, music was great. Fun game to play.
that was a fantastic game. That was an absolute fantastic game. But I know you're not the biggest superhero fan. You're not interested in Spider-Man. You're not interested in Batman. You're not interested in those superhero games. I am. I do like Marvel and DC, and I was actually looking forward to this one. So yeah, unfortunately, but it got delayed, and we'll probably see it then next year, fully revealed and in action. And whenever it comes out, then. All right, Dutch. I think we pretty much covered it for this week. So we want to go into the community questions of the week. We didn't really get that many. Usually we put up a day before the show, usually on Wednesdays. We put up a post where people can write in questions or topics they would like us to discuss. This week, since we are on a very rare Sunday podcast, right? We did put up those posts yesterday, and that's probably why a lot of people missed it. We have two questions. We do have two questions, though. The first one comes from Sinking Ship, and he asks this, Dutch and Boxy. Can you discuss the impact of the Steam Deck, the Steam Machine, and the Steam OS on the industry? Well, I think we already covered that a little bit, but I feel like especially Microsoft is put under pressure by the Steam OS.
Yeah.
The Steam OS is not really perfect, but it does a lot of stuff better than the Windows full screen experience. I've talked about the Windows full screen experience during last week's podcast intensively, and how it does not really simplify how a gamer uses such a device. Yeah, and I feel like that's the big advantage of the Steam OS. All updates are in one place, one click, and everything updates. That's how you do it on console. That's how you do it on Steam OS. That's how you not do it on the full screen experience from Microsoft. Yeah, you also don't need to launch all the different launchers, but then you can argue, okay, Steam OS only running one launcher. Yeah, okay. But yeah, that's your impact of the Steam OS on the industry, man.
I don't think there'll be an impact on the industry per se. I don't think it'll have an impact. I think it'll be. I wouldn't even say there's more competition. I just think. I just don't see it having an impact. I think it's great that they're kind of trying again to get into the home console-ish space and having this small form factor PC, but I just don't see it making a difference or having an impact on anybody else in general.
Yeah. I mean, two different discussions about the machine or the hardware itself and the OS, right? But I agree. Yeah, it will be minimal. All right. The Big Bridge writes in, and he asks this, always with the super creative questions, our brother Big Bridge. You are stranded alone on a ship with a broken rudder and no radio or phone, and only enough power to run one game console. The ship stores has enough food for 10 days, but you've calculated that the ship will take approximately 15 days to drift to the nearest port. Which game would you play to keep yourself distracted for 5 full days till you reach safe harbor? Let your imagination set sail and have fun. Dutch, so which game could you play for such a long time?
For a long time.
5 days or 15 days straight.
Minecraft.
Nah.
For me, super easy. I could play that game forever. If that was the only game in the world, I could easily play it.
Nah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, since I'm so addicted to Ball X Pit at the moment, but I don't know if I could play that game for 15 days straight.
Yep.
I mean, H4 is something.
Okay.
I would say I don't always want to answer with The Witcher. I could also play The Witcher for such a long time, but yeah, let's go with Age. Let's go with Age of Empires. All right, Dutch. That brings us to the end of this week's podcast. Oh, hang on. Blind Mephisto says he could go with Satisfactory. I've heard nothing but good things about that game.
See, but that's another Minecrafty kind of game.
Yeah, I know.
So I'm saying it's these crafting games. It's these ones where you just build things up and create things. They're the kind of games that you could just spend forever on.
True. Very true. That's why I went with Age. You can also build stuff there, but in an interesting way. All right, Dutch. All right. Let's bring this show to an end. I want to say a big thank you to everyone who tuned in here today with us, either here on YouTube or if you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcast. A big thank you to you as well. Dutch, before we let everyone out of here, let everyone know that where they can find you now that you're not on Twitter anymore.
I mean, you can find me here when we do the podcast.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all you can find me on.
All right. So, yeah, we will be back probably next Thursday, if the news cycle allows it. And yeah, the weekend is already over. I do hope you did play some games. Tomorrow it's also for me going back to work. But I hope we see you guys very, very soon. And don't forget to game on.